Timbo and Missy had their run, that was probably, but the Neptunes were around that time too.
Yeah,
I would say like Neptunes, then Scott Storch,
yeah.
Timberland.
Storch was after he was in the terrestrial like 3 years, 2 or 3. Is that? Oh yeah. You're right.
There was like Kanye, Just Blaze.
Puff had to be the first one. Remember?
Did he actually really produce though the actual?
Well, he was more like a yeah. I mean,
He was like an executive.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
that's
Puff
right.
was the first one to be like a producer face.
Sure, that's true.
Other than Quincy though, but Quincy wasn't.
He's OG, yeah.
He was
Alright,
an OG.
Let's start.
Good.
Yeah, do your
We're
thing.
rolling.
All right, everybody. Welcome to the Nobody Knows podcast. You can check us out on Instagram at
Bow, bow, bow.
nobodyknows.nobodyknows.
Yeah, we need
Bow, bow, bow.
we need the air horns.
Wow.
Clue.
My name's Armando.
Desert Storms. Cliff.
Christian, Mikey.
Drew.
Let's get it.
And together, we are Nobody Knows. Nobody knows.
For a
So
second,
let's get into it.
All right. So
What's nobody knows? Tell me.
Nobody Knows was an idea that was concocted through, I'd say, like our experiences, specifically us. Kind of, we produced music before this. Went through, you'd say we had a little industry run. Like we went through the experience, got to experience the music industry. And then through that, we kind of learned a lot. And then
Well, Nobody Knows is kind of like that's the name that we're using as a music production group together
okay, yeah.
with Drew, myself, and Cliff. And then since then, in the last 6 months or so since we started, it's evolved into something a little bit more with the inclusion of Christian Mikey, who's coming in, and he has a lot of experience in the media world creating content.
That's what I was supposed to say.
And essentially, we're working together, kind of just sharing ideas and our experiences, our perspectives from the certain things that we've experienced just working in the industry. Every one of us has some kind of experience, story to tell, working specifically for, moderately well-known artists, I guess. So, that we're essentially here just to share some of our experiences and ideas and thoughts.
This is exciting, guys. I'm excited.
Were you just throwing shade right there?
I'm excited. No, he wasn't throwing
Just kidding,
shade.
kidding.
No, he wasn't.
There was a little bit of shade because he's like moderately known.
Moderately
I think they're a little bit more than moderate,
Yeah.
right? They're
Hey,
more than
yeah.
moderate.
Hashtag big facts.
There- They're known, but it's okay. We can get into that later. Like, can we talk about Clifton socks really quick? It has to be addressed. Why are you wearing socks and sandals, bro?
Shout out to Sandal Boys. We're gonna get that sponsor. We're gonna get that sponsor. You hear that? Mark my word.
Are those Adidas?
Mm-hmm. A girl gone for me.
What kind of socks are those?
Puma, I'm all over the place.
He's off brand.
Yeah,
He's awesome. So off.
That's the Filipino in me, dude. That's the Filipino in me. But they are real brand, the real brand. Like my uncle used to get these knockoff Nike shirts from my grandma, and he used to be my baseball coach. Shout out to Uncle Ted, so. But it'd say like have the swoosh, but it wouldn't say like Nike. You'd just say air up there. And I remember one time they were at like the coaching meetings and stuff, and someone turned out and go, "Hey, bro, what's air up there, man?" And that's when he realized everything he's been wearing had been knockoff from my grandma. But shout out to the Philippines though.
You guys ball in the slippers in the Philippines.
We really do.
These are island people.
Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah, Samoans, we wear this all the time. This is like family party attire. It's a universal thing. You just don't go to church with it.
With shorts when it's 40 degrees outside?
Yeah.
So take us through like everything. I remember like when we first started, how you guys met essentially. It was my birthday, and I invited all my close friends. I'm good, brother. Clifton was DJing.
Let's get a smoke.
And
Guess not.
Mondo was there as well, and then you guys just instantly connected. I kind of knew just by knowing both of you really well. Mondo and I obviously previously worked. We worked together musically, and then I was like, dude, Clifton's a DJ, producer as well. He's trying to get into it, and yeah, take it from that. Take us from that experience, like from there to where you guys are like now, I guess.
Yeah. Well, pretty much, yeah. Just like that we met at Christian's birthday party. Clifton was DJing, and I just came just to spend time. And Cliff and I started talking about music production, remixing stuff just for fun, and got together, worked on some stuff, just throwing out some remixes on SoundCloud. And then it just so happened that one of his best friends is related to, I don't know, do we want to say names?
He one of my best friends was brother-in-law with a high-profile celebrity. Yeah, that's
Yes,
how you,
artist.
artist. Well, celebrity and artist.
Artist.
It's and,
Artists in the music industry.
in the music industry, and basically what happened was he released a single, and we had the opportunity to grab the acapella and pretty much remix it.
Remix it,
and
which we did.
yeah, well, it was,
We just took it and just flipped it and went nuts with
but
it.
here's the thing. I gotta
Yeah.
give credit where it's due, because we were studying IT at the time, and I was like, man, I'm going to be that IT director someday.
Yeah.
Like whatever, you know what I mean? And then I remember when the remixing came up, I just kind of was like, whatever about it. And this dude was like, no, dude, this is like our chance.
Oh yeah. I took it serious
Yeah,
because
and
I was like,
oh, whatever, it's just another remix. Because I've known this artist for a minute, so like more like as a
Oh, that's right,
family
yeah.
member. So I just kind of was like, whatever.
because you'd been in that circle for a long time,
Yeah.
and for me, I was like, oh shit,
This is an opportunity.
this opportunity.
I was
Because
like-
because that's how that's how
That's how-
things
Well, this-
happen, right?
And this shows you how new I was to
Yeah.
production. So like, and just that, I was just more DJ, like on that. But yeah, that was like the initial push into that, because I didn't take it serious.
Yeah, but I did, and so we banged out like the best remix at the time that we could, shot it over, and
just
got a good reaction,
yeah,
right?
yeah. It turned into more work, and then it got to a point where it was like, wow, this is serious.
Mm.
And then it kind of went from that to
It went from that to us going to LA like every week
meeting some
from San Diego,
yeah,
rubbing elbows with some pretty well known people.
and getting our music in hands of people that we've like looked up to that aren't here anymore. You know what I mean?
Wait, what do you mean by that?
Like
Well,
they passed away.
yeah. Well, because like
They aren't
remember
with us.
the Tribe?
Oh, okay.
no. Oh, yeah.
So like Five
Yeah,
Dog is
yeah.
like one of my favorite rappers of all
Fife.
time.
But he
And-
didn't like our song.
Yeah, he didn't like our shit.
Yeah.
That's
That's
fine.
fine.
That's fine. The fact that he heard it and then he passed away, like, that's like to me like one of the biggest. Honestly, that trumps, personally on a personal level, that trumps a lot of
Yeah.
what we did,
That was
because
big.
you know what I mean. But anyways,
But we had a chance to do some music with Judith Hill.
yeah,
Even though we weren't at the session, we didn't get to meet her, but we made the music.
T-Pain,
T-Pain.
yeah.
What else?
Who like?
We mixed some stuff.
Got
what
some
was it?
just
Pitbull was on some shit.
By the way, when it comes to the music industry, like a lot of people probably have worked with a lot of people, but for those who actually do it, none of it doesn't count unless it actually, like, unless it got placed, right? Would you say that? That's why for us, we don't really. This is probably the first time we actually talked about
Yeah, I
this.
mean, those are just like some of the projects we worked on, but didn't end up getting released.
Yeah, we have
know?
we have the files on our computer, but it's yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
But
but
that's just the nature of music industry, is because you'll work on all kinds of stuff. I mean, we probably had maybe somewhere between 60 to 80 songs completed, and
Mhm.
only maybe 2 or 3 of them ever,
see
Yeah.
the light of day.
published.
So it's kind of like how, like in movies, people talk about like how when a company will have MGM and Universal will have X amount of movies, but then they only like so many can get like marketed and get
I mean,
approved, and it's hard. It's a very thin margin. So
it sounds similar. I don't know, because obviously
Sure,
I don't know,
sure.
but there is. I guess a general way of looking at it is labels are corporate.
like banks.
Yeah. So like what that means is you got to look at the music as product. So a lot of times music wouldn't get out because it wasn't that it was bad music. It's just there was a strategy and things that needed to be in place before for the rollout.
It's like the stars have to line. Every single element has to go perfectly.
Yeah.
Everything from like the music to the recording schedule to the artist doing a good job to mixing, mastering, to getting a budget, to getting a video together, to getting the label to sign off. And it's all these different factors have to click in order for something just to make it past. And it can get shut down at any one of those steps.
Especially like
does.
if it depends on how high in the food chain you are, right? So it's like,
Oh, yeah, if you don't have.
yeah, if you're not that high, then good luck. But like, I think I keep saying this, but I remember when we first started, I saw this thing on Pharrell, and Pharrell said, and I didn't really grasp it at the time, but Pharrell was like, to get a #1 hit, the stars have to align. Just what he just said. And at the time, we were just like, it only takes one, right? But as things started moving and you start seeing the moving pieces, and then you realize like there's especially where we were in the food chain, there's only so much that is in our control. The rest, it was like,
Yeah, pretty much at bottom of the food chain.
yeah.
You know, small fish, big pond.
And what we mean
type
by
of thing.
bottom, it is bottom in this at this level, but we were working with we had access to what did you say, like pretty known producers that pretty much are decision makers.
Yeah,
But I'm trying to like without saying any names, but like, you know, we were bottom of the barrel and like in the big leagues. I would say,
yeah.
you know what I mean. So that I'm just trying to make that difference between like
You weren't in the minor leagues. You're in the majors,
Yeah.
but riding the
like we weren't the producers slinging beats for a
Yeah.
couple hundred here and there. Not that it's a bad thing, but
We,
like
we were on the bench, though. for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
You guys are bench guys.
Yeah, we're like,
still pretty dope.
Yeah, absolutely. Just to even get
Felt like
to that
Kwame
place
Brown.
is the And then how did you
Can't
guys
throw
even
shade at
connect?
top.
Like Drew, Mondo, Clifton. Like I've been here a couple times. Like this is
Yeah.
actually my
So,
second.
you know
time,
what's
so
funny?
How does this all?
I've
I'm just
actually
curious.
heard about Drew maybe like 3 or 4 years ago.
Probably.
Yeah,
from
and
Cliff,
I
right,
didn't
yeah.
meet you until, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 months ago.
Yeah,
something like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But you guys go back.
Yeah, I've known you
Because-
since like third grade
Yeah.
ish. Like
Fourth,
Pop Warner.
Yeah, Pop. We were on the same Pop Warner team
Yeah, we
a
didn't.
long time ago.
Yeah.
I don't even want
What
to say
position?
how
What
long
position?
ago.
What position did you play?
My first year at Pop Warner, they threw me at O-line. I don't know
Oh,
Oh, I had O-line
Yeah,
too,
yeah,
man.
And
I
his
was,
dad
uh,
was my coach. His dad was like the nicer guys of the coaches. The rest of the coaches were kind of assholes. They didn't know how to teach. You know, like being good at teaching is like a rare talent.
For sure.
His dad's a good teacher on that stuff.
I was left guard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I was right guard. I was right guard.
you were.
Yeah,
You were
Yeah.
right guard.
That's
Yeah, I
the
was-
funny thing is like we could have played skill positions, but like the coaches wouldn't throw us there. You know,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was trash.
I mean, we didn't know any better either. Like,
yeah,
You're like, oh,
They
fun.
had
This
their
is like
favorite
just
player that
yeah,
they just-
exactly. And
yeah.
Pop Warner, there's a lot of politics like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
like my son's gonna be the running back or the
Yeah.
quarterback.
But as you get older, the politics kind of dissipate because like
It's
then
all-
then it becomes like
Can you actually do it?
Who's
like
really
you
good?
yeah because if you suck, there's no hiding it.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
you know what I mean?
100%, Yeah.
and like that's if you make it through practice.
Yeah.
Because people like can be assholes. Like
Because it's blank slate, dude. Once
Yeah.
you get into high school, it's like a blank slate.
Absolutely.
So you guys played Pop Warner. And
Yeah,
then-
yeah.
high school.
Yeah, and we went to middle school together. We were chilling, hung out a lot. Yeah, man, I've been knowing Cliff for a long ass time.
Yeah, we
Played
got
high
same-
school football too.
Same group of friends in
together.
high school too.
Yeah, same friend group.
How'd you get into creating music?
Man, music.
I'm gonna say this. He's been doing it since high school.
Yeah. I would say I was a senior in high school. I got into it. I had my buddy named Gerard. Clifton knows him too. He was a rapper.
Oh,
He used to do
Cerna.
like backpack type rap.
Yeah, he's cool.
And then he told me, yo, there's this program called Fruity Loops. You should try it."
Yeah, when it was called Fruity Loops.
Yeah,
It's not
it
even
was
called-
straight up
it was
Fruity
FL,
Loops.
Hey, who had
now,
the
now
who
they
had,
call it FL Studio.
Oh God.
I had
Back
the
then
I
it
had the
was
trial
Fruity.
version,
You had the trial. You had the bootleg version from like Kazaa. Or
and you
whatever.
only had like a handful of sounds. So like after a
Couldn't
while,
really
it
do
was-
much.
I didn't because for me it was weird. I didn't like it because it was too quantized. I didn't know how to like.
Yeah, it was like you
It's a
had to go to the
sequencer.
piano.
What is
roll, yeah.
quantizing? So I'm not the music person. So like I've been in bands with Mondo. I was a drummer, but
Mikey's
the
a
actual
drummer, yeah.
producing stuff is a little bit.
It's the same thing as drummers. Like quantized is like on the one.
Oh, okay.
It's not-
Which is like-
Everything is lined up to a
Yeah,
grid.
there's no drag.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And
there's
there,
no.
it doesn't have any like
swing.
variation or
Got
swing
it.
or
Okay.
anything like
Got
that.
it.
EDM's hell like that. When EDM started, it was like hella just like.
So it's like the
Yeah.
anti-drummer. You know what I mean?
That's like
yeah, because like the drummer's like known for having just like
feel, right? They would call
yeah,
it.
yeah,
it's almost like
yeah,
there's
yeah.
the jazz drummer, and then the quantized would be like the marching band guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just everything's on beat.
Yeah, yeah,
everything's just
exactly,
on.
and that's what quantized.
Got
They
it.
can't like swing anything. If
Got
they're
it, got it,
like the
got it,
band
Yeah,
got
guy.
so the way Fruity Loops, like the user interface is set up is like it kind of makes your brain think in that quantized way. And that's probably why Clifton didn't like it. Yeah. A lot of other like music making software, it's more conducive for that like field type, recording. But yeah, I can see why. Fruit Loops is cool. It's a good intro. It's a good intro program.
To music, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Mondo had a Triton. I remember that.
I had
And
the
Triton
Triton.
is
You still
the-
have it.
Damn.
I still have it. Yeah.
you still have it?
Yeah, I still
No
have all
way.
the original music from like 2007 or whatever it was.
There's some
Wow.
bangers in there, bro. Like from back in the day. Like not even the stuff that we did, but just in general when I first met you, through another friend, Simon, and it was. I just remember seeing it, and you're like, bro, you want to hear the. And at the time, one of the hardest tracks was this Clips track, Grinding, and he played me the.
Oh yeah, I had all the exact samples because Pharrell used the Triton back then.
I'm like,
yeah.
Hold up, those
Oh, that's
those
right.
samples
That's
were
that
from the
sound
Triton?
from the
Yeah,
Triton.
yeah, those are from the
'Cause he
Triton.
played it for me, and I was like,
I got to bring it over here sometime.
I was
and
like,
just, play it
bro.
for you guys, man.
this is like this.
It weighs like over 100 pounds,
It's-
but still.
Dude.
I remember carrying that thing for gigs.
Just to give you
Christ.
guys a little bit of perspective, like in those early days where there was software production, like people used to dream over having a Triton or a
Motif?
a motif or an MPC
Yeah.
because like there's that sound you couldn't really get with in the early days of the software, you know.
Yeah, like the
producing.
velocity and like
Yeah,
all
yeah.
that stuff like that.
Yeah. So like I remember those days. Like I was like, man, I wish I could have one of these. Dude, that's dope that you had one though.
Yeah.
Like
that's how
all
I
the
learned.
old heads had them. All the old, like the newer heads.
Yeah.
Like I got into producing purely on software, so like we kind of glorified those things, even though we never used them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But that's dope that you used to have.
Mhm.
It's kind of like with DJing, like how
Yeah.
people use Serato, but like back when you did DJing, you had
Straight
to really
ears,
had
yeah.
to like blend music.
And you shit when I started DJing, it was all vinyl, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had fucking
Yeah.
crates I would have to take to gigs.
I can't
And
even.
it'd
Can
be
you
like
believe that
freaking-
Speaking
shit?
of, hey, you know,
I'd have like 100 records, and the crates are like this high. It weighs like 80 pounds, and
You'd
I'm
have
like
to have a
rolling
truck.
them
Yeah.
up the stairs and
Would
shit.
you say that with DJing and everything, it really helped produce that, like learn how to produce because you're hearing all these records and you're hearing like what people like, and then you're just like, oh, I want to create my own sound.
Absolutely,
that.
because when you're DJing, like you have to learn how to. Well, back then at least, I don't know what it's like now because things are different with the technology. But you have to learn how to deconstruct like the way they put the music together, right? So
Mhm.
like you're thinking about like back then, it's like you always mixed like in the choruses and stuff. So you had to like remember how
Yeah.
many measures
Yep,
were at
like,
certain
this is like
places.
Yeah,
8 bar,
that's
this
the
is a
crazy
16 bar,
part.
like
Mhm.
chorus part, and this you got to match beat.
And you had just enough time to pull out, like, find the record. So the more you had to be organized, get it up there, beat match it. So you'd like have to write like the BPM on the label,
No way.
and then you'd use the pitch wheel, right, to get like the exact BPM,
Sorry,
and then you'd have to get the timing perfectly. And if you missed it, then you missed it.
No, really
then it's,
quick.
then it's
sorry.
galloping horses.
I have to
Yeah,
say
yeah.
this really quick. Sorry.
Galloping.
I would go when I first met him. This was obviously years ago. I'm not gonna say when, but
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
at the time when you had to bring crates. I remember, dude. I saw a couple gigs that you guys did. Like I was there,
yeah,
bro.
yeah,
I
yeah.
was there, and it's crazy to hear the transition now from obviously with DJs nowadays. It's a different game, and I've accepted it when I go to places. I'm like, this is what the kids like. They like when they just do cutaways, and they like it. They don't have to match the beat because they don't give a shit.
But
Like,
you're the world you're pulling from
is so different.
it's the
dude.
it's
It's so different, but it's
Yeah.
okay. I'm adapting. I'm adapting to like
because
what
the world that you operate in is pretty extreme.
it is.
Because you're
Yeah.
you're kind of at the top of that industry and you're like rubbing elbows with that. So it's like a lot. I can only imagine. Yeah. No, but hey, fun fact: my godbrother Brandon Esperon.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. So
He was one of the guys who taught me how to DJ.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
he's the reason how I learned how to DJ.
Small world, man. Just
Shout
small
out to
world.
Brandon.
Off the same
Small
vinyl too. DJ
I know
Woody.
Brandon too, obviously.
Yeah.
From
How do you know Brandon?
Well, let's talk about that.
no, no.
No, it's
I don't wanna talk
no,
about
just kidding.
We'll cut that. Okay, go ahead. Keep going.
Um,
Keep it to like, dude. This is a good.
But anyways,
thing.
we were talking about how Andrew got into music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you start out with Fruity Loops, and then like what?
That's you.
Oh, by the way, this guy
Started.
was the first Arab music before Arab music.
Damn.
Hey.
Like, come on, the whole PQ attest.
Were you using like an MPC?
So this
or
guy was
something?
known.
No,
He was
no.
the only dude that everyone really knew of that was doing music. It was him and Kenneth Pride.
Kenneth
and,
Pride, yeah,
Tavares.
Gerard,
And Gerard.
Tavares. Who else was there? There was a couple other dudes too.
Because it would
yeah.
be like they would rap on his beats because he was the only dude, and those guys would go on like talent shows.
And he had
do,
Rashawn too. Yeah, Rashawn was.
Yeah, Rashawn Bowser.
Yeah, Rashawn.
Like,
Yeah.
something I grew up with, but
Yeah.
But that's kind of like people know. It was like pretty known that he was like the only dude that was really doing music, other than like.
There were people. There were people, but it was
But not
very
hip-hop,
rare.
though.
It was very rare compared to today. Like,
Yeah.
like probably the high school senior class nowadays in 2019, you probably have like 50 or 60
Well,
people that make music.
Well, how much we
Yeah.
had? Like, check that. We had like
we had maybe
5.
10.
Yeah, but how big was the class?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
980.
We had
Yeah,
we
you
had
guys-
almost
yeah.
1,000.
So that's
people in
how
the class.
that's how
Yeah,
small
yeah.
that like.
Yeah, it was very rare.
It
was
wasn't
very
cool.
rare.
Because it's a skill that you had to sit down.
Yeah, yeah.
And you
yeah.
have to spend hours on. And like
Exactly.
it's hard for people to do
You also
that.
had to like know what program to buy. You
Yep.
have to. It
wasn't
was
as-
new, like
Well, the
software
barrier,
production.
the barrier entry was higher back then.
Yeah,
Even,
yeah, back then they didn't have YouTube or anything like that,
Yeah,
man. So like you
exactly.
couldn't just watch a
Learn.
tutorial
Yeah,
about like
no,
how
you
to
had to
make a
learn it
beat,
yourself.
how to mix, how to
and
eat,
DJ,
whatever.
and what separated you from a DJ and the rest was who had access to the best records.
Oh yeah,
Who had the
You know,
fire
you actually
single.
had to own
Yeah.
your music. Yeah,
and like
yeah, that's
production
for sure.
too, who had access to the dope. It's still like that. Sounds like it's crazy because I know cats that like have that have these sacred libraries that are like other producers heard of.
Yeah.
Like this, it's like that. It's pretty crazy.
All right, so like, okay, so what did you do after high school? Keep working on music.
Yeah, I mean, just kept it as a hobby. Yeah. I made some music with a couple artists, local artists in San Diego. Nothing too big. I mean, I was going to college for studying biology. I didn't have like much time to produce full time anymore. So it was always hobby, just for fun. It was a cool thing to do for fun. Just been doing it for a pretty long time, looking at 15 years almost. Yeah. Now it's getting a little bit more serious. Like I have money that I have from my main job to buy equipment and then upgrade my studio and get a little bit more serious. And you learn when you get older, you learn how to budget your time for hobbies and things that are not like directly related to generating income, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I've been doing ever since. Yeah, I mean, me and Clifton reconnected on some shit. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was in a
Yeah, how'd you guys get back
Yeah.
get back working together?
just
Because that was like the beginning of Nobody Knows.
well, yeah.
And then you're like, oh, hey, Armando, come hang out. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I just want to get out of the house.
Yeah, like,
let's go.
Because I was just kind of laughing because we actually hit up Drew when we first started Black Tea
Yeah. So you came through the studio
when it was like
what
just
was
this-
this 3-4 years ago?
yeah, and it was like literally just
Yeah, it was just
this
that. Yeah,
here
yeah.
at the desk and because I remember I came in because at the time I was just trying to learn anything and just be around producers I you know what I mean, just the only ones I knew, which were him and him. So like
yeah.
you know what I mean, and then like I was still trying to like fucking figure things out. So things just didn't line up then. But yeah, so fast forward.
No, but there's a reason why things.
Oh yeah. That's why I kind of laughed.
I was like,
He was
I
in his,
producing a genre of music that just did not,
hard style.
just would not be able
Hard.
to
It's
translate. Yeah,
it's
yeah.
called hard.
I was-
I'm not knocking on it. That shit
Hard
goes.
style. Wait,
Yeah.
wait. See,
Yeah.
I don't know any of this. So,
Hard style is like,
This is where we'd edit
It's
the
like
hard
a-
style
okay,
clip.
so we don't have to talk about it. We don't have to talk about it. bro.
yeah, we don't got.
Okay, we don't got it. All right, sorry.
Oh damn, who's got a
I mean,
phone?
I could tell you about it, but we don't.
You know, you just gotta play it.
Nah.
It's like
there's some cool hard stuff.
you know, there's some like
hard
there's some
style
like
is like it's derived from this old genre called hard dance, which is gonna be like BPM over 140, 150, 4 on the floor, just like super fast.
those
But that-
memes.
That also comes like kind of from like early electronic music or even like drum and bass music, right?
Yeah, and I was making drum and bass, and I was making dubstep. I was really deep into that, and you guys were kind of flowing on that pop
R&B.
R&B,
Yeah, which was like
yeah.
rolled up because it was a we had a
really on that.
no, you know what
pop
you know what I
tip
rolled
for a
up here
long
with
time,
was
man.
that like this. Like
Oh.
so imagine coming with that
Yeah, I
soft,
could see that not-
that soft shit
not
and then
going
all of a sudden
well.
I'm coming in Andrew's dungeon at the time.
Yeah, I was making really dark shit.
Yeah, like
really
like,
filthy.
I
and
don't know. I
dark, yeah.
imagine like you just wearing all black.
Dude,
I wasn't-
I did not look the part. It's just, that's the type of shit I like
JDN?
making. You know, I wasn't gothic.
No, he
at
didn't have
all.
eyeliner. All right.
Oh my God.
But
Paint his nails.
to his credit, he still looked the same. I will say this: I'm not. Hardstyle is dope. It's cinematic. to
It's
me.
not just hardstyle. It's like dubstep and drum and
Yeah.
bass. These really dark and aggressive genres.
But
yeah.
you're on that shit
Yeah.
before like
You got popular.
people were really fucking with.
Yeah,
like, before it started,
yeah.
like, when
I got it
dubstep-
because I started off making hip hop, like true hip hop,
Mm.
backpacker, like boom bap shit, and then I started getting into Deadmau5 and then Skrillex after that, and I was like, holy
Yeah.
shit, I like this new genre, and I just jumped into it.
I like the cinema remix too,
Yeah.
bro.
Well, you gotta hear the thing about him is like what's pretty dope is seeing how like it reminds me of a multi-sport athlete, and then they focus on one sport, but they pull all the strengths from everything else, right?
Awesome.
So it's like
yeah.
because you've gone through the mixing and now your sound design
Yeah.
is like crazy. Because I remember when you started getting to R&B a year ago.
Yeah.
Remember, like the mixes were like,
It was just
It was
bright mixes. Yeah, bright with just the
very
low end and
hard
there's no,
style.
yeah.
And then it mattered
very
just
EDM,
trying to find that low end warmth
yeah.
that made it an R&B track or whatever.
Yeah,
But once
yeah.
you got it, it was like that shit just clicked, and,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
you just been running with it since.
Yeah, you learn when you make electronic music, you have to do a lot of your sound design and engineering. So you learn a lot. I probably wouldn't have learned all that shit if I just stuck making hip hop. Hip hop is very sample based, right? Like you don't learn too much about like designing sounds, creating like chord progressions or
Yeah.
melody writing or any of that.
But you have an advantage now because
Yeah.
like you can create your own samples.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
make it sound like it was.
That's the best
sampled.
part. That's the coolest part about getting into those genres. Yeah. It's cool. It brings something different to the shit that I'm doing now.
Yeah, and that was
Yeah.
one thing. Another thing too was like because the way we operated was always like because it was literally us two having to make like full length meat tracks, like songs, fully produced, like every single week for like 3 years straight. So we have our process because we come from IT, so it was like we had a very like what's you say, like a very structured strategy and approach that allowed us to like be creative when you needed to be, but also be very precise in terms of how we wanted this music to.
Yeah, a little bit
Get
too
there.
much, man. A little bit too much. I think like with anything artistic, like if you try to go too structured, if you try to like control every single element and like turn it into a formula, like you're already starting in a bad place. So that was kind of tough. But yeah.
I mean, but there's things that we realize that we should keep, or like one thing we've always were like, man, if we got someone like a third person, which we did have. Anyways, I'm just kidding. We gotta edit that out.
Keep going. Keep going.
No, we always knew that like if we had another person and it clicked, it would have moved things a lot quicker. And honestly, that's one of the reasons why we're kind of here right now.
Yeah,
And this thing's going on. And
Cool. So I want to talk
uh,
about how Mikey got involved with all of this, because I
Yes.
still don't know. Like, I want to know, like, how Mikey, like, caught on to Nobody Knows, and like what he's been working on, and like just kind of like the experience that you've had in the last couple of years.
Maybe Clifton can
Yeah,
start
Clifton's
on,
gotta start on
on
this.
how Nobody Knows is like how it's expanded from just music to like a little bit like more multifaceted platform, right?
yeah, I think like one thing we wanted to use this show is like a pretty much an excuse to do cool shit. Kind of like the way we kind of put it is like a Mr. Rogers 2019, but like where it gives us an excuse to explore different worlds. But anyway, so just kind of going that route, we were just kind of thinking about like guests and how we can kind of like elevate the show, whether it's bringing somebody on or whatever. But it just made like because you and I we just been kind of keeping up talking just about like whatever
Yeah.
shit we're up to.
Life. In
Yeah,
general.
yeah,
Sure.
And then this came up, and it was just I don't know, it just made sense to me, and that's when I brought it up, and then everyone was just like, "Yo, it makes sense," and so that's was like, "Yo, what's up, Mikey?" Yeah.
I will bring up the elephant in the room because I'm gonna do it. 'Cause I told you I was gonna do it.
Drop it.
All right,
We're
let's
about
do
to
it.
drop it.
Drop
All right,
it.
Clifton and I had a falling out.
No,
I'm doing it. I'm doing
way.
it, bro.
Oh, I thought we were saving that for later.
No, we're not. We're gonna
No,
do it
let's
right
get
now.
into
This is
it
good. I
now.
like it. I like it.
Clifton and I
Let's
had
go
a falling
straight
out,
into
but
it.
you know what? Like we both have conversations recently too. Just like the other day do you know when we talk, bro? Like I look at my phone and I'm like 2
Like an hour and
hours,
shit,
hour
yeah.
and a half, 2 hours. Like we used to have
I
these
used to have those.
conversations
Yeah, that's
all the time. And obviously when
I
you
keep mine 30 minutes
Right?
with Clifton.
Like-
He's like he's got a stopwatch.
he talked so much. I talk a lot too. Like
Would
I'm
you
the type of
accuse him
person
of,
like
grabbing
I
music?
talk a lot, but he just like he's the type. Okay, sorry. Backstory really quick.
Yeah,
When I
yeah.
first met Clifton, he was at my place. He's like, "Hey man, like I like that song. Can
Shout
I,
out to James.
shout out to James Mission."
James Mission.
He would be like, "Hey man, like that's cool, but can I show you something else?" And I'm like, "Yeah, for sure." And then he would always be that guy to one up. You ever like have a friend
that much tighter.
yeah, exactly. This is way better though.
I'm just
Like,
kidding.
he was that guy,
Just kidding.
but I was always that guy with my friends.
But I would say this. It never got so it was conflicting because everything came from a place of passion.
Absolutely.
So because like it
Absolutely.
sounds like when you meet people like that, it's just kind of like you kind of like I don't want to fuck with you.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it was weird because that happened, but it wasn't like it just it sounds bad.
It wasn't. No. But what I want to say to you is like when we went through all the things that we went through. I don't want to say names. I don't want to like get super into it. But I do want to say, it was one of those things that it pushed me, and it really, I became the person that I am because of it. Oh my god.
I wanna, I really.
They are
wanna
really
hear
going there
this.
right now.
I do. I told you. I told you I would, bro.
Yeah.
I fucking.
Okay, let me
I'm
just
go-
say. Let me
Sorry,
just
go ahead.
say, because I've known you since we were
got it.
19. That's a long time, ago.
Dude. Yes, long time, bro.
And the thing is like, see, my perspective is totally different because I was just not as involved in
Sure.
that situation. I made music. You know?
Yeah.
But like, what I saw in the time since then, like, has really just it's been inspiring because I've seen how much a person can progress in such a short amount of time in what they do. And I'd really just love to hear the story because like everything that you're doing right now.
No. Okay,
It's really
I'll say this.
blowing me away
I'll
now.
say this. There was things that happened because of an artist, and I was on board. And I brought a couple coworkers with me. I can say their names, right? Or
Just because we
Okay.
haven't talked to them.
okay, we haven't. Okay.
Yeah.
But it was a project that I was on board to do some video stuff. I ended up being more of a producer in that sense, and I really was like, I went to go rent the car to go do for the trailer, and I got like my two guys to help me film this thing, and we filmed it, and we actually got an opportunity to do a video, and it was just like that opportunity. And I was like so grateful. I was like, dude, I've never done anything like this. This is one of those things that it's like could be a big stepping stone. And to be honest with you, looking back, it was like, man, like I wasn't ready for that. Like straight up, I wasn't.
It was a music video.
It was a
like
full music
pretty-
video, like a big
for a-
production thing, and I just started doing what I was doing, and
I'll say this, just to like clear, like not clear it up, but just I'm gonna say this: if you've ever been in a position where you're that hungry, and you're like freelancers out there, like if you ever been in that position where it's an opportunity, you're hungry, but it's kind of like it's a little, it might be you're like I could pull it off, I'm confident, but at the same time it's like I don't know because it's new territory.
exactly.
So it's a risk. And these are those things that either like make you like become great, or these are the things where if you fail at this and you get back up, you're going to be in a better spot.
absolutely.
So that's like kind of
That's what I want to
that's
get
what
at.
it was.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was, man. And like, no matter what happened, like, so things happen. Let's just put it this way: things happen. We both got upset at each other. I'll never forget, dude. You called me and you were upset, and I was upset, and then I was just like, all right, man, I'm just gonna leave it as is, and we'll let bygones be bygones. But you know what, dude? Like, there wasn't a day that went by, bro, that I was like, fuck, dude, I miss this dude. Like, I fucking miss hanging out with you. And it was
we
fucking
used to
crazy,
hang out a
bro.
lot, man. And like,
And it was, but you know what? Like, I'm crying right now, but I don't give a fuck.
yeah, I'm not
'cause-
looking at you because I'm trying to like stay
No,
like
bro,
stay
because-
G about it. You know what I'm
because
saying?
that
take
moment,
it.
that moment when that happened, I will never forget, dude. I was in my place and I was like, dude, I feel like I lost not even like a friend, but like a brother, like straight up.
Yeah, because we spent when I
So
moved
much
to-
time.
Yeah.
And then I fucking just went crazy and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna put my head down for all the entrepreneurs out there. It's those moments that define you when you fucking are bottom. It's like you can only go up. You can only go up. So I literally put my head down. I spent hours on the computer. I looked up all these different things that you can do online now. And but I just did it myself. I literally just taught myself everything. And I tried to just work fucking super hard. And I met some really cool people along the way. And I still do it now. And when you hit me back up to do this, like that takes courage to fucking just to even like have like you were the one that would hit me up and be like, hey man, like hope everything's good. Like we both kind of just said, you know what? Let's just fucking work together again, dude. Like it's been so much time. Like let's fucking do it. And now that's why I'm here. And that's why I'm ready, dude. Like I'm prepared.
It's nice story.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I mean, it's like I guess I don't know. There's so many.
There's a lot of things. I know it's
There's so
hard
many
to,
layers
there's
on
so
this
many
thing,
layers,
and
yeah.
like
I want to
it's-
give you a hug though, straight up.
I mean, it's like
I'm gonna give you a hug. I don't care.
You know, I love you, bro.
I love you too, man.
And like, this is people don't understand. This is the result of like about a year of really trying to patch things up. There's so many layers to it, so it's kind of like when that whole thing happened, me being the focal point of a lot of this thing, it was a lot of confusing things going on, and part of me was like the emotion got to me. So like that's where I was like, it was.
I understand the position more so now than like that time.
Yeah,
Like I totally get it, like 100%.
because I knew, and I'll be honest with you, I knew that the second that happened, like people that were friends, I was cool with, just meeting you through you, like it was like that was it, and I'm not stupid, but at the same time, I was like in my head, like, it was one of those things like I knew what happened, and they didn't know the details of a lot of stuff. And when I say that, I mean we knew what happened.
Sure,
they didn't know the details of the stuff, but like, it was an interesting time for me. It was kind of like it was awkward, like in certain situations, because
But you learned from it. You just like with you
yeah.
guys, your situation when you guys had a lot of things that's happened, and it like you learned from it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to like pick my words
carefully. I know it's
so
tough.
I'm trying to craft this.
It's
So
hard.
like
it's hard.
So basically, I'm trying to build the what I'm trying to get my point across is like I'm trying to show there's a lot of layers to this thing.
Yeah.
So like, part of me that why I like wanted to hit you up, because same with you, man. Like there'd be times where like, fuck, man, like Friday night. Oh man, I fucking hate this guy. James, is he around? Like, you know what I mean? But it wasn't like, it never got petty. And the one thing I will say, this is like,
No, I never
like hated you.
Same.
You know what I'm saying? It was just more like
I never blasted anything social media about like negativity. I never did any of that.
I never hated you. I just went off of what I went off of what I was my truth.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So to me, I was, me. Like
Yeah.
if it's my truth and I know, like I feel it, like I'm gonna
Yeah.
speak it.
Yeah.
But it was like, but even the people that were part of the project, it was more confusion on their end, but it never was like you're a bad dude. I
Yeah.
think that was the one thing.
Yeah,
and
and I remember that you had that
Yeah,
conversation.
but that was part of the reasons
absolutely.
why I deep down inside I always knew that, and that's
Yeah.
part of the reason like as things progressed and as our journey with these certain people, I'm gonna say artists and team,
Yeah.
as it progressed in the way that kind of was handled,
Yeah.
and it kind of I put like for me it just was like it just made sense just because the way that ended.
Yeah.
Then coming back and then hearing and then seeing like, oh, it really wasn't what they had painted it out to be.
Mhm.
And for me, I was hungry too. I was trying to make it.
Absolutely.
That was the first time, like, I was like, yo, it's the first time I'm producing a music video. So the pressure was like, because we literally, like, almost lost the project. And then that part of that played into
I
that,
get
like,
it. I get it.
you
That's what
know-
I'm saying. That's why we can sit and talk about this. And I'm
Yeah.
glad that we are and that we have this platform nobody knows to talk about stuff like this because
Yeah.
these are things that people go through, man. People go through similar things. If
And,
you
and
really,
it doesn't matter the level either.
it doesn't matter the level.
Like,
it could be at a
like, you
lower
could-
level.
yeah.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be at the highest level. But at the same time, for me at least personally, it really helped me understand how I work with other artists now, how I work with influencers, how I work with these high profile brands that I get to work with. And like I've applied what I learned from that experience. And that's what I want to tell people is that if you fuck up and you do this thing, it's like like what he just said, like you can only really go up from there. There's no like you already felt like shit that you're just like, fuck man, this shit sucks. Like I'm garbage, I'm whatever. But like you can control what you can control. And when I went through that with you and everything, I took my anger off of like, just be creative. And like, I fucking bought my camera and then I got the software and I started meeting people. And that was like my strength was just because I knew so many people I was an agent for 8 years, dude. So like, I
Yeah.
know a lot of people. So that just helped. So anyways, I love you, bro. We're good now.
love you
We
too,
good.
man.
We good.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of,
That's
it's like, and the thing is, a lot of that situation had kind of created a lot of positivity for both of us, right? In terms of what we've learned from that experience. Like, I'm telling you right now, the music industry, there is no degree, I don't care where you're at, that can teach you what we learned in that span of time. Like, on how to just maneuver and how to, like, and how to just kind of maneuver in that world. And that world sometimes does not make sense for whatever reason. And us being starving artists, and we put our marbles on the table with all that. Like literally the Red Bull story. We're gonna go buy Red Bull. That's how bad it was, right?
oh my God. I know that. Do you know about this
You want to
story?
tell?
No.
I'll tell Andrew.
Well, you don't have to say who it is,
Every-
but you
every
tell
time-
about the Red Bull story.
It was different because at the time you didn't have a job.
Oh
right?
yeah.
And we were doing music for a living, and we were attempting to make a living producing music. So there's just like money coming in like unpredictably here and there,
Spurts.
right? And so, I don't know how much you want to talk about your living situation, but like,
Oh yeah. Like it was like rubbing pennies together every time. Meaning like gas money going
Yeah.
up to the studio was like super.
Concerning. It was like a
Yeah.
concern. For,
So
yeah.
when you have to buy certain things, and
Like we'd go to like
Yeah,
a
no,
studio
I'll get it.
session.
I know you're getting into.
We'd go to a
already know.
studio session and then
I
like
already
before we
know.
got there, it'd be like, hey, can you pick up this and this and this and this, right?
balling on a
And,
budget.
and at the time, you know, you can tell them.
Yeah, and at the time being like dead broke and literally the gas.
But you had to
money-
make an impression. You had to make it seem like it wasn't a thing.
Yeah, and this is
because
like-
it's a high profile person.
So
so-
again, if
Yeah,
you
it's like Pursuit of Happiness.
yeah. Like literally, and
Where
we
Will
get,
Smith had to pay
cab.
for the cab, right?
Yeah,
That
for
was
the
his
dry
last
cleaning,
$5,
and that's literally what it is. And like if you gotta watch, people gotta watch that movie. That's like one of those movies. But
yes.
it was literally like, hey, what's up? Yo, can you grab some like 5 packs of Red Bull, some snacks, blah blah. Oh yeah, I got you. As I'm paying for my gas, and that's the last couple dollars, and I'm like literally counting pennies, and I'm looking at Mondo like, hey, bro, you got some, you got like 5. I'll get you back later. So like literally those trips were just like survival to get there, and then survival to get back. But what made it worthwhile was like it was dope. It was almost like you're like playing lotto every week to get good news, and it was like a rush.
Yeah.
Like I don't think people like, to be honest with you, when you're in it, that shit is the most amazing thing ever.
Absolutely.
It's like a rush. It's like you're like hell yeah, and we would just there'd be times where we go up to the spot, and then like on some like go up to the spot on some like weird fucked up headspace, right? Negative. Then we leave and it's just like, oh my god! But it literally sometimes it felt like fuck, we're about to win a Grammy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
It's
like we about to go
It's a roller
platinum.
coaster of emotion that you have your moments where you have your ups or downs, just like everything else. And like,
Yeah.
I have that story too, bro.
But it's like that.
Obviously.
It's the Pursuit of Happiness shit.
It really. Oh.
You got through that shit. So
Okay, hold on. I was at a birthday party. And okay, so when you go to these birthday parties with influencers that I work with, you know, it's like known that for the most part everything is comped. Like I get like, cuz I know this because I would shoot it and this birthday party was not comped, and there was
Oh,
maybe
no.
like 35 guests, 30 guests, and about half the table left.
well,
And-
talk about. Can we give
sorry.
perspective,
Okay, what do you-
context?
Do you want me to say the name?
No.
I can't say the-
Can you give the amount of followers these people range
they're
in to
the-
give you
to give
like-
perspective? They're like in the millions. They're in the millions of followers. People know who they are, like on Instagram. I'm not gonna say names, but I will say this again. These are high profile people that are. We're in Beverly Hills, right? We're in this like nice restaurant spot, and the bill comes, and it was over like.
But you said like a bunch of people had left,
But a
right?
bunch of people just had left.
And you were one of.
And I was
like,
one
just
of
a
one of
couple
maybe
people.
7, and the other 6 were like the baller ones for sure, easily. Like I know they had money, a lot of money, and I'm sitting there, and I already chipped in we already chipped in, but then they kept going around in circles, and they're like, "Hey man, did you chip in?" I was like, "Yeah, bro, I already gave like $50. Like I don't know." It's like, and I looked at the bill, and I can't even, bro. It was like. I had to split like over like $800, $900, like with, and I'm just like, I had fucking, I didn't even drink. I don't really drink. So there was like champagne bottles. There was rosé. There was like, that is champagne, but there was just like a bunch of just stuff that I'm just like, I'm not paying for this. But at the same time, I don't want to be that one guy that can't throw down a card. And I bite the bullet. I was like, good thing I have a little bit of money, like that I can like drop this. But at the same time, it's like, dude, this was one of those like I didn't want to, but at the same time, I was like,
Wait, so you had to pay like $800?
close to it, yeah. Like
and you weren't drinking. You were hardly
I wasn't
eating.
drinking.
You were just there to
I didn't,
see
and I was just
people.
like, bro, but that's a lot of money, dude. Like that's not like just,
Especially when you're just starting,
yeah,
and just getting
it was
out
like
there,
not-
and
I
like,
was
That's
like,
the fake
you
it till
don't
you
have
make
that
it
kind
that's
moment.
one of those moments where you just go, you know what? I'm just gonna. I just did it, and I was. So I know it was
Man,
out.
that
It was an
sounds
ouch. But you know
painful,
what? I
That sounds
can
painful.
say that it's that person has helped me in tremendous ways. So yes,
ultimately it worked out.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, so like,
Pursuit of happiness.
yeah, the
God,
fake it till you
that's a
make it
great movie.
moment.
Yeah.
But that was yeah, man. I mean, it's the ups and downs, but of that whole. Because we talk about it occasionally sometimes because it is a bit. I wouldn't say bitter. Like it's not to the point where we're losing sleep over it, but like it's. I want to say it's fun to talk about, but it is entertaining sometimes.